to find a way. How are we going to get better than the previous year? Losing some great ball players over each year that have been here. How do you replace those guys that did so well from a production standpoint, did so well for you from a leadership standpoint? And we thought as a staff that this would be a chance for us to be pretty good defensively this year, but you're still always trying to see, who's going to replace that Keenan Gilchrist or that John Law, and AG and all those guys, and not just from the production but the leadership part of it. And I can't tell you how happy I've been, how pleased I've been with the leadership qualities of our players this year. At every level of the defense. You're not just looking at one guy. A.J. Howard is, I think, an outstanding leader for our defense on the back end. I look at the linebacker core, and Eric Boggs is a guy that's played an awful lot of snaps for us. He's a great leader. He's just a tremendous leader. And Devin Stranger, a guy that's played an awful lot of snaps for us. Once again, leading not just vocally, but with what he does on the field. By example, you look up front, and Myquan Stout has really stepped up his game, and not just from a production standpoint, but also, getting guys to buy into their responsibilities within the scheme of the defense. He's just a very solid leader for us. And whenever you have that kind of leadership, and you got some guys that are playmakers at each level of your defense, then shame on you if you don't get it done really well. So, questions?
Nate, Anthony Flory came out of spring ball with that #1 spot on the depth chart, and he's a guy that came in maybe a little more game ready as a true freshman. He's been here for 3 years. I know he's fought some injuries. What are you seeing out of him, and in filling very big shoes with John Law leaving that spot? How do you think Anthony's progressing at this point?
One of the things that Coach Satterfield said about our defense was that we're moving around pretty fast, and guys that have some speed, and Flory steps into that linebacker spot and gives us more speed there than we had last year. And one of the things that you're always cognizant of as a coach is how well do they process it? Do they process it quickly? Because if they do, then you see that speed. And I think with Flory, he's a guy that is seeing things quickly and reacting fast. And now you get that true speed. If a guy can run a 4.6, then he's playing at a 4.6 level. So Flory's a guy that can step out of the box and run with receivers. He's a guy that can get downhill fast. Against blocking schemes and disrupt plays before they begin. So, Flory is I'm anxious to see him in the ball games because everything I've seen so far in practice has been outstanding.
You mentioned how you've been really happy with the leadership roles, and you mentioned AJ as one of those guys, and obviously Eric's would be one of those guys as well. But can you mention maybe some players that maybe not everyone would know about that have been at practice so far that you've seen that have been stepping up into those leadership roles?
We might be here all day. I'll tell you what, I'm the guys that are stepping up. I mean, when they're on the field, they're just leading by example, and I can't tell you. As I think about it, I look at this depth chart I got here in front of me, I can't tell you anybody who's not doing that. There's some freshmen that step in there and they got a little something about them. But usually moving from the high school level to the college level, it just takes a little bit of time. It takes a while before those guys can play fast, And, some of those guys are playing with confidence. Will they speak out, in the locker room and things like that? That's going to take a little bit more time. But I think the younger guys are ones that are just going to get out there and play with some confidence, even though that's very difficult to do as a young athlete. As you get older, you get a little bit more comfortable to speak out and get guys to buy in, so to speak. But guys that to come to mind, I think I think Josh Thomas is a guy that does a tremendous job in the back end. Duck is young, and yet people do a good job of following him. The linebacker core, I don't know if we're going to be as vocal at the outside linebacker spot as we will be just get it done sort of type of guys. Inside linebacker, Boss is going to be that guy for us. And defensive line, they just get after it, So leadership, we got it. We got it at different levels, and that's a good thing for us.
Coach, I've seen you in the SRC lifting weights several times. What's your interaction with other students on campus outside of the players that you coach? How does that differ when you interact with other students?
Well, I tell you what, if I was lifting weights, you didn't see me in there for very long. I might have been in the pool a little bit more than I was lifting weights because it's a little easier on the joints. But getting around other students, hey, I've got a son that'll be a junior here. It's nice to interact with the students and get to know them a little bit because you got family here, and that's important that you just have an understanding of what kind of atmosphere it is for your family. Going to class every day and being in the student body and things like that. So that's one of the gifts that coaches have for going through all the work every day, the 7 days a week, 24/7, all that stuff. You get to be around young people that are really enjoyable to be around.
We'll have time for one more.
Of the guys that you redshirted last year, gave that extra year of development, who are you most excited about? We may not know their names yet, but who are you most excited about coming to actually see them live on the field?
And that's a great question, but I think the way we have things set up right now, the guys are in the program and they're developing really well. They're taking coaching well. They're maturing physically with our strength and conditioning staff, and the redshirt guys are more moving into a position of where they may get onto the special teams a little bit more as far as getting onto the field than just at the specific position. I think I'm trying to think redshirt wise. Yeah, I'm not sure that. Shamar is battling right now for a position that may, he's going to be on the field. That's a fact. Heck, he's playing so well that he's in a position of where he may be a starter for us. But we're still early in camp, and we'll see how that continues to progress. We've thrown a lot at him defensively, and he's handling an awful lot of schemes and assignments with our defense. We've almost put everything in. We've got maybe a couple more days of blitzes, and then after that, it's just the dime package. And he's handled everything so far and doing really well. So Shamar would be one of those guys, absolutely.
Good.
Well, let me say one more thing before I go. I've been very fortunate to work with a coaching staff that does a tremendous job. The level of schemes that I get to sit in there and listen, come back and forth across the room, is just an awful lot of fun for me. We divvy up things defensively, and to give credit to these coaches on the defensive staff, you look at our red zone package. Coach Sloan does a great job of putting that together for us, and that's been something that he sort of heads, and we've been very successful in the red zone. Coach Jones does an outstanding job of putting together our run defense and where we're going to fit with this and how we're going to fit that, and part of the blitzes as well. And then Coach Brown, heck, he's had corners now that heck, I believe it's about 20 interceptions in the last couple of years at that position. It's just tremendous, players, but coaching those guys as well. And he puts together, sort of our this is how we're going to play our routes. This is how we're going to defend, in these coverages and so forth in practice. And then I can't say enough about Coach Ivey and what he's done with their defensive line. Those guys have put pressure on the quarterback just at a phenomenal rate, and produced tackles for loss and just getting after it up front and setting the table for the next level, the linebackers and so forth in the secondary. So it's just been a tremendous joy to work with those guys and how they take on these responsibilities and put together great schemes for us to work. All right. Thank you.